talk about a clean-looking face, man, listen to this. When you soften your whiskers with Gillette shaving cream and skim them off smooth as silk, you wind up with the cleanest face in the world. It's not only clean-looking and clean-feeling, but it's surgically clean. That's because Gillette shaving cream, both lather and brushless, now contain K34, the amazing new facial antiseptic that destroys from 85 to 99% of the harmful bacteria on your skin. Used consistently, it gives valuable and lasting protection. Odorless and colorless, K34 is the only non-irritating facial antiseptic known that remains fully effective when combined with shaving soap. So for extra shaving comfort plus the cleanest face a man can have, ask for Gillette brushless or Gillette lather, a quarter. Only Gillette shaving cream contains K34. And here's a man got plenty of that K34, Jim Britt.
The first pitch into Eddie Robinson is inside for ball one. The score is 2-0 in favor of the Cleveland Indians in the last half of the fifth inning. Robinson singled to right his last time at bat. He swings and misses. Eddie is a big left-hander from Paris, Texas. He has a count of 1-1. And in the series, he has 3 hits in 10 trips for a batting average of 300. Incidentally, the Braves have failed to score now in their last 22 innings of play in this World Series. Sane delivers, and there's a slow roller to the right of the mound. Sane decides to let Torgeson field it, and nobody covers first. Base hit. There's the first out-and-out mental lapse of the series. Sane stood on the mound and watched Earl Torgeson pick up that ground ball about 25 feet inside the first base line, and it goes for a hit because there was no one there to take a throw. So Robinson now has 4 hits in 11 trips. That's his second hit, Cleveland's 5th, and catcher Jim Hegan is up. Here's the pitch to him. He bunts one down the third baseline. Elliott fields it. There's a quick throw to Torgeson. It's a perfect sacrifice that moves Robinson to second base. Cleveland was quick to take advantage of the Braves' lapse. That is not technically an error, but substantially it is one. And it puts a runner on second base when Hegan forced Elliott to field a sacrifice, and Gromek is roundly applauded as he comes up. Steve used to be an infielder, and he escaped the contract of the Detroit Tigers. Somehow they overlooked him. He jokingly refers to the fact that they said he was too skinny at the time. He's pitching a great game of baseball. The first pitch is a called strike. Gromek struck out his last time at bat. The infield is in a little. Third baseman Bob Elliott is playing very close to third base. The Shadows are halfway out on the diamond now as Sane takes his stretch. Here's the pitch. Foul ball right down in the batter's box. And the count is 2 strikes. The outfield is set to the left. Cleveland has a total of 22 hits in the series, and the Boston Braves have a total of 19. And as Mel told you, the only blow that is good for more bases than a double was Larry Doby's home run. Here's the pitch. A foul ball just down to our left into the crowd, and the count is still 2 strikes. 1 man out in the last half of the 5th inning. Johnny Sane hasn't had quite as much stuff as he had in the opener, and Cleveland has solved him to the tune of 2 runs. He delivers, and that one is a little high. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. And again, Big Bill Voiselle is warming up for the Boston Braves. They've warmed him up 2 or 3 times. Bill McKechnie is the coach at third base. The coach at first base, as usual, is Mel Harder, the former great Cleveland pitcher. Sane takes his stretch. Robinson leads off second. Here it is. And there's a high pop fly, a foul ball down the third base line, and Al Dark goes over fast and takes it, and then wheels to see that Robinson has no idea of moving up to third. Dark made a good running catch of a foul ball outside the left field line between third base and the field boxes, and here's leadoff batter Dale Mitchell. Dale is from Norman, Oklahoma, the home of the University of Oklahoma. He scored the first Cleveland run in this game, has 2 hits in 14 trips. He started right off by upsetting Johnny Sane's delivery to the tune of a single right back through the middle. The outfield plays him to the left despite the fact he's a left-handed batter. The right side of the infield is deep. Sane takes his stretch. He pitches. High, a curveball for ball one. Unlike most major league pitchers, Sane uses his fastball as a waste pitch. His curveball is his stock in trade. So far, he has yielded 2 runs, 5 hits. He trails 0-2. He takes his stretch, delivers, and there's a ground ball back to the mound. Sane takes it. The throw to first is routine for the out. Despite the leadoff single, Mitchell goes out, and in the last half of the 5th inning, the Braves hold Cleveland to no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left. And at the end of 5 innings of play, the score is Cleveland 2, Boston Braves nothing. Most men enjoy a corking good scrap between top-flight boxers. If you're one of them, tune in Gillette's Cavalcade of Sports for the major boxing event of the week every Friday night. Consult your daily newspaper for local time and station. Billy Southworth is going out to third base, and I notice now that Ken Keltner is delaying the start of the infield practice until he secures his sunglasses, because the sun now is almost directly above home plate, shining out toward left field. Cleveland has 2 runs, 5 hits. The Indians have played airtight ball, have left 2 men. So far in the series, they have outscored the Boston Braves 8-2. And the score in this, the 4th game of the series, with Steve Gromek dueling against Johnny Sane after Johnny had had but 2 days rest, is Cleveland 2, Boston nothing. Shortstop Al Dark is up with 2 hits and 14 trips in the series and 0-2 in this game. He fouled to the catcher and popped up to second. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Dark has 1 double. 1 of the 3 Boston doubles. The pitch by Gromek, swing and a miss. He pulled the string and threw a slow curveball. And the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Dark hails from the Bayou region of Louisiana, Lake Charles, and that city honored him recently. He has been one of the rookie stars of 1948. Here's the pitch, and he misses a bunt. Strike 2, 1 ball, 2 strikes, as Gromek threw a fast curveball toward the outside. Third baseman Ken Keltner followed it in quickly as the bunt became apparent, and Dark missed it cleanly. Billy Southworth is coaching at third base, and the first base coach is Freddie Fitzsimmons. Dark is first up in the first half of the 6th inning. Outside, the strikeout was just missed, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Umpire Bill Stewart goes out on the diamond, picks up a piece of paper, and the crowd, which has ridden him steadily ever since his decision on Boudreau at third base early in the game, came out again. Here's the pitch. Foul ball in the batter's box. Beaten right down into the dirt. Jim Hegan recovered it after Dark had kicked it partway down the first baseline. And now Al knocks the dirt out of his spikes. Over in another booth just a little to the right, Van Patrick of Cleveland, Texas born, by the way, along with Eddie Robinson, is working television with Red Barber. We're high just a little bit to the left of home plate. A perfect vantage point from which to bring you this word picture of Gillette's. Here's the pitch. There goes the drive to center field. Doby goes back for it, and he takes it. For an instant, it seemed the ball might sail over his head, but he was positioned slightly to the left of straightaway at about the 350-foot mark. Dark wasn't able to pull the ball. He hit it exactly where it was pitched on a line, and Doby went back a few steps and took it high overhead. Earl Torgeson up. Torgeson doubled his first time at bat, and he could conceivably have had the first triple of the series, but he stumbled rounding second and had to go back. He has 3 out of 8. Ball 1, a curveball inside. Gromek is not a particularly rugged-looking lad. His trouble, he explained, early in the game was the fact that he was too skinny. That's how scout Wish Egan of the Detroit Tigers happened to overlook him. He pitches. Outside, ball 2, 2-0. And a little earlier in the ball game, you'll recall, he retired Torgeson when Torgie hit a hard ground ball to Robinson, and there was a minor collision at first base, and Steve seemed to be shaken up a bit. 2-0 the count. Inside, a curveball that took him back, and it's 3-0 on Earl Torgeson. Gromek has no strikeouts so far, nor has he walked anyone. He has scattered 4 hits. And it's interesting to note that 3 of the hits have come after 2 men were out. Here's the windup, the pitch, and that's right over. He threads the needle with a called strike, and the count is 3-1. 1 man out of the 6th inning. Cleveland 2, Boston Braves nothing. The Braves have gone through 22 1/3 scoreless innings in this World Series. Strike called. Curveball caught the inside corner, and the count is 3-2. Torgeson is one of the Braves with the power to hit the ball out of the lot should Gromek commit the pitching mistake of putting it in where he prefers it. The outfield is set way to the right. The payoff pitch is coming up, and Gromek takes a full windup. He strides, delivers, foul tip. That thumped out of Jim Hegan's glove. Catchers, and good catchers, tell me that it is luck, pure luck, when a catcher catches a foul tip. Because the action is so swift that even his reflexes and his instinct can't get the mitt in front of the ball. If the mitt is there, the chance is it will be a strikeout. Otherwise, it's next to impossible. 3-2 the count. Here's the pitch, and it's ball 4 as the pitch missed the inside corner. There's the first base on balls given by Gromek, and Earl Torgeson becomes the 5th Boston base runner. That brings up Bob Elliott with a 2-0 lead. Any manager who has ever taken a team against the Boston Braves will tell you that this is a dangerous situation, since Elliott represents the tying run, and he drove in 100 runs in the National League this year and was last year's most valuable player. He has none and 2 in this game and 2 out of 12 in the series. Strike called. Elliott is a big, husky right-hander from San Diego, whom the Boston Braves and their fans regard as one of the shrewdest trades the Braves ever made. They got him when Billy Herman went to Pittsburgh to manage. 1 strike the count. 1 out, Torgeson leading off first base. The pitch, and there goes a ground ball to Boudreau. Boudreau to Gordon. That's 1. Gordon to first. Double play. That's the 5th Indian double play of the series, and it came at a time when the Indians could use it to best advantage. No runs for the Braves, no hits, no errors, 1 walk, none left. Cleveland leading 2-0 going into the last half of the 6th inning. The score is Cleveland 2, Boston nothing. Folks, when you see a ball game like this that's full of thrills, hear a radio show that gives you a big laugh, or read a book that packs a wallop, you like to tell your friends about it, don't you? Well, that's the way Eddie Dyer of the St. Louis Cardinals feels about his Gillette Super Speed Razor. Take over, Eddie, and tell the fans what you told me before the game.
Okay, and hello, fans. I told Jim Vitt that this new Gillette razor beats anything I ever shaved with. It's the handiest razor and the easiest shaving in my experience.
Many thanks, Eddie Dyer, and I'm sure the fans know you mean every word. Men, the Gillette Super Speed Razor, which includes a 10-blade Gillette dispenser, is a regular $1.50 value for only $1. Buy one and enjoy superlative shaving satisfaction. Larry Doby will lead off in the last of the 6th. He's a big left-hander. The first pitch inside, ball 1. Doby continues to be the batting star of the series with 5 hits and 13 trips to the plate, an average of .385. He's driven in 2 runs, and he hit a home run in the 3rd inning. The pitch, high, ball 2, 2-0. Those of you who are listening to this broadcast who have seen games in the nation's capital at Griffith Stadium may remember his home run of this year. Here it comes. Ball 3, 3-0. At Griffith Stadium, Doby hit one into the loud-speaking horns. One of the longest blows of modern times. 3-0 the count. Johnny Sain gets set to pitch to him. And he catches the outside corner with a call strike, a curveball. The count, 3-1. Bill Voiselle is warming up for the Braves. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Sharp breaking curveball, and Doby missed it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Larry has a batting average in this series of .385. And he's been a very fine competitor. Here's the big one. Here's a ground ball that goes by the mound. Stanky in fast, a quick throw. He's out at first. Earl Torgeson's foot was very nearly dragged off the bag because Stanky's quick sidearm throw on the dead run, it had to be fast with Doby running, was a little off. Doby made a motion toward his right shoulder as he went down. I thought for a moment that he might have injured himself, but he indicates no. 1 out, Boudreau up. Lou doubled in the first run of the game for Cleveland. He has 1 out of 2. He's a right-hander, and the first pitch is right over for a called strike. He was down on the crouch. Sain followed the ball in, thinking a bunt was coming. 1 man out in the last half of the 6th inning. Cleveland leading 2-0. Sain pitches, and there's a high fly ball to short center field. Coming in fast for it, McCormick is under it, and he takes it high overhead for the second out. 2 men are out, and Cleveland's second baseman, the Gordon, comes up. Flash is his nickname. He has no hits in 2 trips. He grounded to short, and he grounded right back to the mound. Sain gets his sign. Johnny takes a full windup. He delivers, and he throws a strike. A sidearm crossfire pitch that caught the inside corner and found Gordon shrugging away from it. McKechnie and Harder are doing the coaching for the Indians at third and first. Sain is set with the next pitch. Here it is. Outside, a curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Very few pitchers in the game throw as many curveballs as Sain. He used that fastball as a teaser, a poor pitch, a waste pitch, hopeful that the batters will try to go after it. Here it comes. There's a long fly ball just inside the line. Rickert is over near it, and he takes it in foul territory in left field by a couple of steps. So Gordon fouls out to left field, and that's the second time in the game that Sain has faced only 3 Indians in a half inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. That's the second inning, by the way, in which the Indians have failed to put a man on. At the end of 6 innings, Cleveland has 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors, 2 men left. The Braves have no runs, 4 hits, no errors, 4 men left. Now we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Your dial is set at 710, the spot for sports all year round. Your World Series station, WOR, New York.
This is Jim Britt back at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, where the Boston Braves now have gone through 23 consecutive scoreless innings in this World Series. The Braves, so far, have gone through 32 innings and have registered only 1 earned run. The boys over in Typewriter Row here at Municipal Stadium will be digging into the record books. Marv Rickert, the Braves left fielder, is up. He has 1 hit in 2 trips, and he hit the ball hard both times. The pitch, outside, ball 1. Third baseman Ken Keltner is playing in because of the prospect of a bunt by a left-hander. Boiselle continues to warm up in the event of a rally, probably. The outfield is set to the right a bit. Steve Gromek pitches, and he throws one inside and slightly high. 2 balls and no strikes. Gromek is an extremely likable lad. He went to St. Ladislaus High School, just outside Detroit, and lives there the year round. Here's the pitch. There goes a long drive to right field, and that one may be troublesome. It's a home run for Rickert, and it's Cleveland 2, Boston 1. That's Rickert's second hit of the game, his 3rd hit in 10 trips in the series, and the young fellow who was called up from Milwaukee to replace the injured Jeff Heath has broken in with a bang. So now it's Cleveland 2, Boston 1. There's warm-up activity starting in the Cleveland bullpen as Mike McCormick is up, a right-hander, and he fouls one right down at Jim Hegan's feet. Strike 1. Kleiman and Christopher are warming up for the Cleveland Indians, both right-handers. 1 strike the count. There's a foul ball off to the right and out of play. Strike 2. That dropped back of the Cleveland dugout, down in the section where the red-hot Cleveland fans are, the players' wives, club executives, the official family. The hits are now even at 5, but Cleveland leads 2-1. The pitch, outside. Gromek was shooting for a strikeout with a crossfire pitch, a curveball that broke wide. So the Braves have finally scored their first run in 23 innings. Actually, in the 24th. They went through 23 successive scoreless frames. Here's the pitch. There's a drive to left field, and it drops safely for a base hit. McCormick singles to left as the Braves show signs of getting to Steve Dromek after 6 scoreless innings. That will bring up catcher Phil Macy. And Kleiman and Christopher continue to bear down for Cleveland. And Big Bill Boiselle continues to bear down for the Boston Braves. Boiselle many times has pitched against the Indians in exhibition games en route north at a time when he was one of the mainstays of the New York Giants staff. Some of the observers close to the Cleveland club insist that Bill has always been bothersome to the tribe. Mike McCormick is on first base. Phil Macy, the batter. The Indians are looking for the sacrifice now. Strike called. Third baseman Ken Keltner is in fast, but he goes back. First baseman Eddie Robinson is holding Mike McCormick very close to the bag. Phil Macy has no hits in the series and 6 trips. The Braves trail Cleveland by a score of 1-2. There have been 2 home runs in this game, in contrast to the others. One by Larry Doby and one by Marv Rickert. Doby's in the 3rd, Rickert's in the 7th. Cleveland leading 2-1. No one out. Here's the pitch. And it was outside and low. Macy apparently had the bunt sign because he was sent to sacrifice, but decided to stay away from the pitch. 1-1 the count. The Braves have 5 hits. Cleveland has 5 hits. And incidentally, the hits have been alike. Torgeson and Boudreau have doubled, and Doby and Rickert have homered. Here's the pitch. There's the bunt. And it goes foul down the third baseline. It looked almost as though Macy got his thumb on that. He did. Macy got his thumb in the way of the ball. And it's on his throwing hand, too, by the way. The pitch was close and inside, and as he slid his hands along the bat, the ball struck him, and it struck the bat at the same time. And he now is shaking his right hand as though he is in some pain. And the Braves trainer, Dr. Charles Lax, is being motioned to, and Billy Southworth is coming over to get in on the conversation. Freddie Fitzsimmons, the first base coach, is coming all the way in. The Braves would be in a tough situation if Macy were forced to withdraw, and that is the story. Macy will have to leave the ball game. As he bunted the ball foul down the third base line for the second strike and a count of 1-2, he got 1 or 2 of the fingers of his right hand in the way of the ball, so that the pitch struck both his fingers and the bat. And now Bill Salkeld has a bat, and Macy is taking the bat away from Salkeld in an attempt to show Southworth whether or not he can swing freely. And Macy, I think, is going to stay in. He is. Salkeld goes back to the dugout. Macy takes 2 bats and starts limbering up, and Billy Southworth apparently has decided that he will be all right. I mentioned that it would have hurt the Braves had he left the game because Salkeld is suffering from an injured groin muscle, and that's the reason he isn't in this contest today with a Cleveland right-hander on the mound. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Mike McCormick is on first base. No one out for the Braves as they have scored. They trail 1-2. The pitch. There goes a high infield pop-up out towards the mound. Ken Keltner is coming in for it, and Keltner takes it for the first out. Macy popped 1 up. He was able to swing, but not with his usual efficiency. And Eddie Stanky comes up. Macy kicked the rosin bag on his way back to the dugout, and Tommy Holmes, who will need it anyway, picked it up and carried it into the on-deck circle. Meantime, sidearmer Russ Christopher and right-handed Ed Kleiman are warming up. Stanky has 1 hit and 2 trips. Bill Boiselle is still warming up for the Braves. There's 1 out, and there goes a long drive towards left field. Mitchell is going back. He's there. He turns and takes it at the 350-foot mark, and McCormick has to sprint back to first base. Stanky tried to pull that one over toward the left field stands, and he did hit it deeply, but not deeply enough for the sector in which it was drilled. Johnny Sain coming up. He's a good hitter for a pitcher. He has 1 hit in 4 trips. John sacrificed, and then he singled to left. There's a ground ball back to the mound. Gromek spears it, throws over to Eddie Robinson at first to retire the side. After leading off with 2 successive hits, a home run and a single, the Braves could come up with just 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 runner left, and at the end of 6.5 innings of play, the score is Cleveland 2, Boston 1. When a fellow goes all the way out, as Eddie Dyer of the St. Louis Cardinals did a while ago, and says the Gillette Super Speed Razor beats anything he's ever shaved with, you know it must have what it takes. Designed for use with the Gillette dispenser, this razor has a notched positioning bar. Zip out a blade, hook it in place, twist, and there you are. To clean, simply loosen the razor, rinse, shake, and put away. There's nothing to fit together, nothing to jam or clog. You change blades instantly and don't have to be a locksmith to do it. When Eddie Dyer says, I don't hesitate to recommend it to my best friends, meaning you fans, he isn't kidding. So take Eddie's advice. Buy a Gillette Super Speed Razor and enjoy modern shaving comfort and convenience. You get it, plus a 10-blade Gillette dispenser, a regular $1.50 value for only $1. Ken Kellner will lead off for Cleveland in the 7th inning with the Indians leading the Braves 2-1. Sain throws the first one, and he swings and misses. A fast curveball. The Braves have out-hit the Indians in this series, so the 2 teams are now just 1 hit apart. They've out-hit the Indians in this game, so they're just 1 hit apart in this series. Kellner gets set. He's a big right-hander. And there's a fly ball that goes towards left center field. McCormick is under it. And then Rickard crosses in front and takes it as Mike goes down to one knee. They apparently were quite sure of their ground, but to the crowd it looked very much as though there might be some mix-up in signals. Rickard is wearing glasses, and McCormick, I think, was bothered somewhat by the sun. In other words, Rickard was able to make the catch, not looking directly into its rays. Walt Judnick, the right fielder up. No hits for him in 2 trips. He's a left-hander. There goes a long drive down the right field line, but it's a foul ball. That had all the home run length it needed. It curved into the right field stands in the lower deck, about 15 or 20 feet to the right of the 320-foot mark and the yellow foul pole with a screen attachment. 1 strike to count. Here it is. Curveball, called strike 2. 2 strikes. The Braves were blanked for 23 successive innings until they scored. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 called. That's the 2nd strikeout for Judnick, and it's the 9th strikeout of the series for Sain. A fast curveball that broke right over, and there are 2 men out. Eddie Robinson has 2 hits in 2 trips, and he has 4 hits in 11 times at bat in this series for a batting average of .364. Only Doby of the Indians tops him. He's a big left-handed hitting Texan. The first pitch, outside, ball 1. Occasionally you hear a little roar of protest in the background. That's when Bill Stewart is picking up a piece of paper or something. There's a ground ball. It goes to Torgeson. Torgeson flips to Sain. Sain steps on first to retire the side. That play was 3-1. The crowd has been riding umpire Stewart ever since the series opened here in Cleveland, because they probably heard Mel's and my report of 2 very close plays at Braves Field. One of them on a pickoff play at second base, the other on a play where he ruled Al Dark safe at first, and it has fallen to Bill's lot to get the close ones. And he's had 3 of them so far in this series. Sometimes a player and an umpire, too, can go all the way through a World Series competition and never figure in a tough chance or a controversial decision. And the fact that all 3 of those decisions, at second, first, and third in that order, were against Cleveland, made Bill just a ripe target for their verbal abuse. Good-natured, of course, in some instances. So they've opened up on him a few times.
Here are the please. Number 24, Kennedy, plays right field.
Kennedy has just gone to right field for Cleveland in place of Judnick. That is the second time in the series that move has been made. And incidentally, the last time Kennedy drove in a run after he went in.